Boom! This episode of Talks with KG is sponsored by Canai Cleaning Services. Quality service at all times. Located out of New York, serving all 5 boroughs. They have been in business for over 15 years. Services include cleaning of schools, cleaning of hospitals, cleaning of houses. It don't really matter. Just link up with Canai Cleaning Services. Their number is 917-200-4362 or email canaienterprise.com. Also, Jave Auto AC, located number 182 Eastern Main Road, El Dorado, for all your AC needs. Right now the sun hot, so Jave AC is definitely a spot. Boom! Welcome to another episode of Talks with KG, where we keep it real and nothing else but real. And tonight we have another wonderful episode. I want to bring to the platform Chromatics. Yes, sir.
Brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All as well?
All the time. I mean,
Right.
this was something that was supposed to be done long time back, bro. You know, he's a man been on the same type of energy that I on. You know, you always saw the importance of podcasts or interview style or even the radio stations or wherever it is, independent. What you would call it? What you would call this lane?
Entrepreneurship. Yeah, and as I say, independence, definitely, you know, independent of traditional media and traditional forms of media. And the space that you are occupying, and we all occupy now, is an important space because it's a platform to give different voices and different sides of the story and everybody's story. Definitely. And I want to kick it off by saying, I see you the other day in the press conference. Right. And I say it to your face, and I'm going to say it on camera now. I'm proud of you, brother. Yes, sir. And congratulations.
Yeah, man.
And probably having, I will say, the number one podcast in Trinidad and Tobago right now.
I'm taking that. I'm taking that.
You know
but before we start, this episode is powered by Road Boy Stout. That we don't get mixed up. The thing change now, you understand? So
it did change, it elevate.
It elevate, you know? So we have to pay respect to the sponsors, no big up Road Boy all the time, you know? So for the people that do not know who is Chromatics, let me start from the very beginning. Because bad bro, I know you really is, you understand? And if I had to be real, when I just came into the industry, it definitely, like you were definitely one of the men that was from entry, inspiring the thing now. You know, I finished school in 2008. So I know you know what you was doing in 2008. You understand? Well, the man was heavy. As a matter of fact, I could go even before that. I remember going to a Lil Bow Wow concert in probably like 2002 or some kind of thing, I believe, 2004. Somewhere around there, it was, no. Yes.
Probably.
Somewhere around
I wasn't on stage for that one, though, but go ahead.
You wasn't there?
Nah.
Spot Rushers was there. That was it. So I say I had to ask
I was
that.
there in the concert.
You see? And imagine I remember you from there because, as I say, how old I was them days? About 9, 10 years old.
Damn.
And I already knew who you were. You know, that kind of way, like Spot Rushers, that kind of vibe, local hip-hop group. You know, so I see the thing from inception. So when I see where you come from to who you is now, it's a big inspiration. And I know some people may not understand because they really never see, you know, now what I see as I say.
The progression.
You know? Yeah. So we go straight back to the beginning, bro. You know, who is Chromatics from the very beginning?
Wow.
Because people know you as Chromatics.
Chromatics.
Wrap it up, Matics.
Richard Raj-Kumar, that's my government name. You know what I mean? Born to a Trini Pops, British mother. Music was always around. My brother, my older brother, my cousins was always in bands, played instruments, everything, you know what I mean? Nobody really picked it up professionally, but music was something that always run in the family now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was in band rooms and things. We in our band room here today.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Since I was small, and that bug just take me by dog boy. And as a man, I always used to write my little poetry and thing in like primary school or whatever. But it's when my cousin come back from foreign, and this is like late 80s, early 90s, and he's like, damn, hip-hop is his thing, thing. And he's like, why? We always used to sit down and draw and stencil and trace artistically, but then now this music became an expression. He's like, come and write something. And I write the dog, 12 years old, and never stopped since. That bug just take me.
Hip-hop? So like, it was just hip-hop?
Yeah, straight hip-hop, straight hip-hop. You know, he was influenced heavily by Tribe Called Quest, Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang, you know what I mean? And that was the vibe. Yeah.
So Chromatics was never a singer?
I could sing.
Like, no, well, we know you do all kind of things today and them kind of vibes, but like them days, you wasn't like it has some youths who just come up and they would try all kind of things. They would try to sing soca, try to sing reggae. You was a strictly hip-hop head.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, in primary school, I was singing like little plays and things where they would do Christmas concert and them kind of thing, because I could sing, you know, until the cigarette mash up my throat and everything. You know, and don't smoke cigarettes, guys. You know, my mom was a professionally trained opera singer, so I remember seeing her in big plays and whatnot.
Singing,
you know, so so I could hold a note still, although I had bars. You dig?
Yeah. So take me through the journey now, as in the sense of, we know that back in them days, like early 90s and them kind of vibes, that things like Kiskidi Caravan and General Grant and the dancehall culture and all them things, where you did fit in all of that?
Now, well, that's the thing about me now.
Because you come from that time.
I won't say I come from that time. That time was like when you were watching me, that time, that was my time. I watching them. So I watching the Ghettorians, Kindred, General Grant, Sister Ron, shout out to Sister Ron, wherever she did, you know what I mean? And the funny thing about him, my same cousin who I tell you, used to write, come back from foreign and tell, you know, put me onto hip-hop. He lived Maraval, like 4 blocks away from Caribbean Song Basin, where all of that was taking place. And you know, we had passed there, everything, and you're just watching this building. And you're like,
that was a dream.
I want to get in there one day, you know what I mean? And that whole Kiskidi Caravan came out of that. And so it was very inspiring, and it was the first time that Trinidad and Tobago saw music in those genres, you know what I mean, of hip-hop, dancehall, etc., you know, because that was becoming the expression of the youths at that time, very much like it is today, right? And then you were seeing Trinis delving into these art forms outside of the carnival season and having success, or at least building fan bases and gaining popularity amongst Trinidad and Tobago, and it was an inspiration in itself.
So what was the inspiration? As you say, it was an inspiration in itself, but you say that was like the first of the inspiration locally, basically.
Well, you see, that's the thing, right? So, all right, cousin, bring me to right now. We're doing this thing and we're recording, we're recording on cassette, right? It's a double cassette player, right? And it have a speaker on the top where you can press record. And it had to stay right here now. You understand? It's dog barking in the back, it's tick, you know what I mean? So we were making our own music from inception. You know what I mean? And then now seeing that movement give you more, you know, spur you on more to be like, I could do that thing too.
So it had anything to see, like before the Kiskidi Caravan, it had anything, the youths that was like yourself, who were trying to do music, had anything to look at besides the soca and the calypso genre?
Well, soca wasn't the art form as it is today. Nowhere close.
So what you was looking at locally and
it had like, you know, men like Ronnie McIntosh, who would go and mash up stage doing
But that was like soca. But I mean like outside of soca.
Locally?
Before Kiskidi Caravan, it ever had any superstardom that
locally that shout out to my big brother, Just Jace. You know what I mean? He was, this is coming from party time days, party flavor. I watching he rapping on screen, and then there was others like Big C. You know, you had Saturday morning was the thing. You get up, you know, this is how it was, right? And we talk about local content. Saturday morning you get up, you have a little cartoon, whatever, but then you're watching party time or party flavor, and then there's local NGC basketball on TV. As a basketball man too now.
So you're watching local
basketball. Right, true. You understand? So, you know, as I say, those were inspiring moments seeing these individuals and these artists performing live on your TV now. You dig? It didn't, and them time you really had much choices. You know, with cable was you had like 3 channels if you had cable. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that was, you know, an inspiration towards doing the thing on more of a hobby level. Like, all right, this is something I'm interested in doing, I'm going to continue doing it. You know what I mean?
And what was like the inspiration to now go forward with it? Because now you had these spot rushers and how that formed. It ever had a hip hop industry when you formed Spot Rushers, or it was like the first hip hop group in Trinidad?
Nah, can't say that because we had a shout out, as I say, man, like
Ghettorians and them was like hip hop.
Yeah, Ghettorians was hip hop. Shout out to Father Gage.
Right.
Kindred, all as much as his rapso is hip hop. As far as I concerned, both is the same thing as far as I concerned. You could burn me out if you disagree, but whatever. But there was a group called Dredging, and they were the real pioneering hip hop group before us. They used to throw their own events in the tunnel in Chaguanas, right? And you used to look forward to that every year. You used to throw like 1 or 2 every year. Shout out to Tommy Def, Mario, Junior Twice, Big Daddy Buff. And I always used to, you know, hear about these events now. And it's central it happening, right? And I remember a time, dog, and I'll do CXC, whatever thing. And I can't go. The next year now, show, hip hop, show in the tunnel, whatever going on, is dredging, whatever. Pouring rain, dog. Watch me, I travel long Chaguanas, reach by a bridge and I say, how we going to do take boy? We take 2 garbage bag and put it over we head and go on in the dance, right? When we reach in the dance now, this is my first time I saw this thing to be a vibe. It's because I escorted people out the car with umbrella, you know. I was like, oh, look, come in the dance because this is my first time here and this had a sell-off. And it was you saw it was a little brotherhood because them time hip-hop ain't what it was now neither. You know what I mean? Especially in Trinidad. You know what I mean? It was just like very, very niche thing now, but it was men and women inside it that just love this. When big tune play, you bounce a man, your mashy sneaker is love. We carrying on bad because we know we here for the music now.
There's one guy.
So shout out to Dredgen, and they actually opened for DMX and Method Man in 1999 or 98, whatever, you know what I mean? So they were, I would say they were one of the most pioneering groups, not only as artists, but as entrepreneurs in terms of doing their own event, making their own mixtapes, putting it out and promoting it.
Sure, the blueprint basically.
Correct.
So that's where you like basically learn the blueprint from, you would say?
Well, watching other artists too, because as a man as all the questions I've been asking you behind the scene tonight, as an inquisitive mind in terms of I want to know everything and what's going on, and you know what I mean? And I watch artists like a Jay-Z and Rockefeller. I watch people like a Master P. I watch Russell Simmons, Rick Rubin. I just want to know more than just the music now, how this thing came to creation, how they get it out there, and I transfer a lot of that knowledge into my own career now.
That's true.
You know what I mean? As you know, you would have seen me, certain people would have known me till this day, from hustling and selling CDs on the streets.
And from Highway Records.
Highway Records, you know, like that.
No,
it's all about independence, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no joke. So you was looking at, as you say, the Jay-Z's and like the hustlers in the industry, and you say, you know what, I want to be that.
Correct.
Not just an artist, but I want to be a structure, a machine, basically. That was always
a business owner.
You
know what I mean? I admire the business behind it because I kind of knew that, you know, you used to hear the horror stories of just artists getting shafted by record companies or whatever, and it's the independent minds, the labels that took more control of their career. You know what I mean? And then to be able to offer opportunities to other artists and things, you know what I mean? And lead by that. All I want to do, dog, is be an example, dog, or be an inspiration. You know what I mean? Bob Marley said the greatest thing you could ever be is an inspiration.
No, definitely, an inspiration. Let me just say, for instance, Highway Records, right? I don't know if you understand how much of an inspiration that studio was. Like, I just still pass on the bus route
and look
there and see it break down and be like, wait, I remember
when it break down, you're just saying what it was.
No, it's not there again?
No, of course, it's not there.
And is a car park there or something now?
Me, you know.
Yes, I can't park there. Yeah, so I just passed in and I just turn and it don't even look the same. It's like a different place now. But I remember going to school, like I had men in my classroom who used to chip up money and men used to help men and kind of coming down by highway records to record songs, you know, that kind of way. So it's like a monument now. Who know? No. Yeah, so who
black
know?
paint with the one-way
It was
mirror.
on the bus route. So like, them days two studios wasn't like how it is today. Everybody didn't have a studio. So there was certain studios and then you wouldn't even know where the studio is. So because it was on the bus route, you know where it is.
Correct. Yeah.
And once I was interested in music, and so you turn your head and you see that sign, highway records, you know.
Yeah, because think about it. What we set up is a studio, but then we selling strictly local music too. So you could come record your thing and then produce your thing and then put it up for sale. Not just the music, merch, wherever your clothes, etc., local designers. We was all about that, bro. You know what I mean? Maybe ahead of its time, and you know, as I say now, I just see the thing that's happening in waves, and I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah, for sure.
We had the Kiss Kitty Caravan,
Yeah.
and then we had a little hip hop thing with
Right.
Spot Rushers and another artist called Seth Gaines,
Right.
Von Don, I don't know if you can remember that name, right? And then, of course, what they would call the Reggae Revolution, Ice Asha, and then other things, and then now Trinidad, Zest,
them
you
kind
know what I
of
mean?
Yeah. Nah, as I say, bro, I wouldn't say you was ahead of your time. I wouldn't even say it like that. I would say you set a blueprint, you know, because what you was doing, people wasn't really doing it, you know, to that level too, you know. The kind of things what I was doing, bro, like the kind of artists that passed through highway records, you know, R.I.P. to artists like V-Max, you know, like that was monumental times in his career.
I could cuss on this podcast,
of course, come
Yeah,
on.
we done pass the one. Man, rest in peace. First ever official single was produced.
Come out of highway records.
Shout out to Lucci too.
Big up Lucci.
Shout out DLL, shout out Pun,
big up Pun.
shout out Bebo.
Bebo. Bro, that was a monumental time in history.
Yeah.
For sure.
We were very revolutionary in different things. And then so you see technology too. And this is something I wanted to discuss too. I always push in that envelope, and we had to use technology to our advantage. When we had dropped the Carnival Rap Up 2012, right? You know, everywhere now is QR code and thing and whatever. You know, download my app and When Carnival Rap Up dropped, we print jerseys. The logo was a bomb dropping on the radio now. And right in the corner here was a QR code to scan and take it to the YouTube. This is 13 years ago, bro. You know what I mean? So we always using technology or looking at the trends, you know? So
that's our vibes, man. So, as I say, you're coming through the thing, you know, Spot Rushers, highway records, pushing hip-hop energy. But we always knew you for being like a revolutionary in the hip-hop space. You know, man could just be doing the music, but Matex is like he fighting for something. He fighting for all you, basically, you know? And one thing I always remember from you know, I was a Jay-Z fan too, you know? And, you know, I know certain lines, certain lyrics, you know? As I always say, that is why Hove is the GOAT. Because certain things he say, little lines, they just stick with you for life, you know? And a certain line you said, bro, that stuck with me and still sticks with me today. I got 99 problems. 96 ain't one.
You're kissing ass for rotation. I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, 96 ain't one. Yeah.
Bro, historical. You understand? Historical. Where that come out from?
And I'm glad, I mean, I was thinking we would have go down this lane,
Of
right?
course.
You know what I mean? I was thinking,
Of course.
And I just want to put this out there. It had nobody burn more fire on this industry.
I sure.
None.
I sure.
No, not a soul.
I sure.
It had men would talk behind the door and say about this one and talk about this one, but nobody came out on Front Street or put it in
And you
music.
put it in music, correct.
You dig what I'm saying? Because that was
On
the
numerous
platform.
occasions. too.
Numerous occasions, right?
On stage, everything again.
So the funny thing about that, right? Carnival Rap Up had dropped 2012. A lot of people don't know or don't remember that Trini Cyphers Shout out to Punch, shout out to Wiz, shout out to Emilio, right? Had dropped January 1st that year. Or we filmed it January 1st, New Year's Day, All Man Jack. When you watch the video, Rion looking green in the video, you know what I mean? And I dropped that line, dog, and the place gone mad.
For sure.
Everybody had the favorite MC, whoever, and that's good. You know, I always look at competition as a healthy thing, right? You know what I mean? Everybody had the favorite MC, whoever. But when I dropped that line, people started to go mad. You understand? Because at that point, I was anti. Although I had music played on radio before, and had experienced the whole gamut of it, performing in big concerts with spot rushers, getting your music played on the radio, whatever. I understand that there was something wrong. It should be more than that than just your tune play for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and then
you know
what I mean? So I dropped that line now, and a fan who so loved my music and loved that line, take the logo of the station and put it up in a thing and do I got 99 problems 96 say one. I put that up. I do it, you know. A fan do it, send it to me, and I put it up as my profile picture on Facebook. Them time, and it had no gram and thing yet. You know what I mean? Or gram now come or whatever. Right? And this is funny because it's going back into the discussion, the comment that I leave on your post and a discussion that you was having about your podcast. A DJ messaged me from said station. Not necessarily, no big DJ, I think he working overnight. And in my inbox is, Dan, you can't say that. You will never, nobody go want to work with you, and corporate go thing, and this and that and whatever. Well, I post up that and start burn out that on the box, dog. I hear you get a message from Tweez. Tweez say, oh God, just leave Matix alone now. Just leave him alone now. Right? But here the irony in it now. 2 years later, I recorded and producing B-Mobile main jingle for the year.
2 years later?
2 years later. 2 years later, I was the brand ambassador for Angostura LLB as a hip-hop artist in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? Shout out to Rude Boy though.
Big up Rude Boy. All the time.
Right? But that goes to show, bro, like, when you asked the question the other night on your podcast about people been telling you, people in media been telling you, you need to watch your content or whatever, because these things might not happen.
Correct.
That bullshit, dog. Do you? And the people will come, bill it and they will come.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And they're looking for that influence or whatever, and people who are outspoken and whatnot. And this pussyfooting around and trying to play it safe, you don't get nowhere playing it safe.
I'm sure about that, bro.
You know what I mean? And yes, there will be brands that, you know, you ain't coming here and looking for a Sunshine Snacks deal, but then again, you know what I mean? Anyway, then again, if that could happen, then KG could get a Sunshine Snacks deal. You know what I mean? But you know where your podcast and your content is situated in the space, and it have brands like a Root Boy that see the alignment.
Because to me, too, no disrespect to the person who telling me that, but to me, you can't just align yourself with that brand and have nothing to do with you. To me, they're just looking for money, basically. But because I was telling Root Boy and all, I was like, a few brands come to me, and I didn't take it because I just wanted a brand that would help me too. And I think Root Boy was perfect.
Would make sense.
Yeah, perfect for what I'm doing.
And as I said, as you think that, do you make your content? Because if them can't tell you that, because they tell me the same thing, and as a hip hop artist, you know what I mean? You in the for want of a better term, Trinidad space, the local dancehall space. Don't mind you used to rap here, well, you go tell all of that.
See, never know what. As you bring up that's the thing. I don't like when people put me in a space because you know, like it had no space for KG. You know, I was I just like you. You know, I was a part of different times in the thing, and Trinidad was just the one that kind of.
Well, you are integral cog in the wheel that made this whole thing, and as I say, is waves and is movements. There's a lot of things that have to come together at the same time. A lot of people involved for these things to happen. You know what I mean? And what I wanted to say, boy.
Well, what I was asking is about the 9-6 in 1, you know? So, you never had fears of being blacklisted? Like, that was never part of your like your mindset as
I
an
was.
artist?
You forget I was banned on every radio station
Right,
in Trinidad and Tobago.
right. I mean, so, but you, when you said I got 9, I'm probably 9, 6 in 1.
Right.
You wasn't studying that maybe that could blacklist me for life, basically.
No, because here the heights in it. I had already made the decision to myself that I'm not dependent on radio because I understood the BS that was going on.
Right.
I could get a story. So at the end of the day, jugglers boss me, as a solo artist. 96.1 played my music first as a solo artist.
Right.
But I saw things happening. Something happened, right, with me, and I mean I've spoke about this before, with a certain artist announcer, and he hear that I saying something about he behind the scenes. Big up Shal.
Right.
Big up Shal, right?
Shal Marshall.
We already passed this, me and he good.
Yeah.
Wherever we was good then, we good now, and I think he didn't understand what that play off. Right? I go in our studio and I used to mic. Because it's all kind of thing. I DJ, mic, MC for songs. I was micing with jugglers at one point in time. You know what I mean? And I went in our studio and I was, saying, yeah, you just mic with jugglers and he's an artist. I say, yeah, some man, me know him right now. All I know is he tried to sell me a Prada shoes in his studio me for $1,500 them time. And I said, nah, brother, I good.
Who tried to sell that shoe, Shal?
No, our next man. Supposedly, he partner, however. Right? And I say, well, I find like, so-and-so was digging, Shal was digging our horrors with me being a mic. But I could be wrong. Being a mic man, a part of jugglers, whatever, ting. Well, boy, pass the message, just go.
Yeah.
That reached back to Shal.
Yeah.
Matic says I am. Tang. Wherever. I come back from England. I was out there for a little bit. Come back. And I had a tune that I had no bus. Oddly enough, it was like a crossover hip-hop, R&B, groovy soca vibes. Right? Shout out to Justin Cross with him there, right? And Barry called. Matic's boy, think, Shal, hey, you say X by Y. I go to play the tune. He say, nah, boy.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I call him and we sort out that, we deal with that one time, right?
Yeah.
That was not the case, X by Y, boom.
Right.
But here I look at it, right? Regardless of what I say or do, you stopping a man food and you stopping a man from progressing. Then it have artists who diss me. I go still play the music.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Because I understand this shit bigger than all of we done. The music bigger than all of we. You dig what I'm saying? And at that point, I made a stance as because KG, you gonna know this too. You have a studio too. You record artists.
Right.
90% of the time, what's the first thing they just tell you? I want to give me a tune on the radio. I want to record that. You have any links to get
links on radio, yeah.
You put in the cart before the horse.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I kind of wanted to prove a point, not just to myself, but to other artists too, that you don't need to depend on radio and build things from the ground up, just like Trinidad built.
Correct.
It ain't building no fucking radio.
Correct.
Right? It built from this groundswell. So that's when I, with Spot Rushers and then with Highway Records, decided this is this ground thing that we're going to do. We're going to touch the people. Radio station is our middleman between your music and the people. Granted, is a lot of people, right, that they can reach in one instance. But you can do the same and create a more personal relationship with fans. Doing the groundwork now. When I say groundwork, going out there promoting your thing on a hand-to-hand, person-to-person basis. It's harder, but it is last longer. Otherwise, I still wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? And that is why I took that stand. So it wasn't like they banned me, however. We will get to that when I get banned, right? I just wanted to prove a point, and then look at it. Carnival Rap Up.
Right.
Songs like, so before I even dropped 96, that line, which I did turn into a song. I had a song called Puppet. I don't know if you remember that one.
I remember that.
That was making fun of the making fun of the industry now. You dig what I'm saying? And I was a bitter artist before that. Before I write that song. I was angry because, I feel me and my brothers, we talent level up there, but we ain't getting any love now. And a lot of my songs was angry and vexed and thing and whatever. But when I did that song, and I perform it, and I performing it everywhere. Me and my manager at the time, shout out to Stuart, decided, hey, what's going on? You have these 2 songs, that and our next song called Rumors.
I remember Rumors, yeah.
Right? And they're very controversial. And people reacted. That summer, we said, hey, what's going on? I ain't care if it's free paying, nothing, we're back down with the road. And we do over 30 shows in a span of 2 months, dog. Just hitting. It's because Heineken called me for Green Synergy DJ thing to perform. It's because Hennessy called me for Hennessy Artistry. You know what I mean? And going back to the song Puppet, is when I realized, Dan, that making people laugh.
Yeah, is where it's at.
Is where it's at.
When it comes to the hip hop space.
Not just hip hop, but when you hear people be like, oh good, nah boy, and that, but you're putting a smile on the face at the same time and you drop a line, that much more effective than you know, and you're aggressive and
all
whatnot.
the time.
And I as a man study stand-up comedians, like study the timing and etc. Nah, for real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But as you tell me that, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
Because I always look at some of your work and I say, like, Matix real have it today. Like, he know how to... Like, a man watch you and never think you have that talent in you.
Well, like
so
that.
as you say it now, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, the dog been studying that type of art now.
But you see, there's the thing, I also, at the same time, I am seeing on sound system and thing. So I could read crowd now. So I learned from that. Yeah. And then I'm watching comedians and the comedic timing and how they deliver punchlines and whatever. Yeah. Not just battle rap and rappers and whatever, and performers. You know what I mean? So I watching and I taking all of these little gems and developing myself as an artist, because at the same time, aside from running that route and going and perform, you're performing for Trinidadians who don't know your song.
Right.
That is not an easy task, brother.
No lie.
And I always say, if you could mash up a Trinidad and Tobago audience
with a song that nobody knows,
you could go anywhere on this
anywhere.
and mash up. And I've proven that, you know, within my own space. They go and say it. So, yeah, man, it's always been about independence. You know, big up Charles still is. You know, these things in the past, but he was young at the time, I was young at the time, and it was a misunderstanding. But it led to me making that decision and trying to lead by example. And when we hit the streets with Highway Records, I understood that it can't be a hustle. It will look like a hustle, yes, but everybody in branded T-shirts. We had MP3 players. They could preview the music. It's not just like buy me CD now. You know what I mean? It's a different approach. Yes, it's streets and hand to hand, but it also has a professional or business outlook. This is a functioning business. You know what I mean? And you look at what happened with that. Squeezy started hit the streets. Fireball started hit the streets. And real money make though. We make $100,000 off my first album.
Damn.
A lot of it went back into expenses.
You know,
so don't feel like, you know? But, you know, money make now. You dig what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. So how you get banned now?
Oh, God.
I didn't even know you get banned.
You don't remember that?
Well, I thought you was always banned.
Oh.
Because you always used to be burning your fire, so I just thought you were a permanent ban.
Nah, so here the next heights now. Right? You know, the copyright organization of Trinidad and Tobago. Hear the joke in it now, right? I see Fireball talk about big up fire anyway. Big up fire anyway I'm there. Right? You cannot talk about this. You want to take a pause for our next rude boy?
No, you think.
I want next rude boy.
You want rude boy? So before we go in your pause?
Yeah. Okay, cool in the fridge.
Let me take a pause and we'll come back. Boom. Yeah, man, back again. So, you know, we had to take a little road boy break, you know, the thing go. So, so we're talking about how Matix get banned.
Right.
On the #1 radio station in the country.
No.
They are 96, they are next station.
All.
So you get banned on all stations?
All except for Boom Champions.
Oh, yes, I really remember hearing this talk.
Yeah, right? So.
Besides who?
Point one wasn't even part of it. Because remember, I had
you get
done
banned on all except who?
Except Boom Champions, 94.1. And that conglomerate of stations. Right? So, basically, you know, we operating in a space where, you know, you had to kind of maximize all the different streams of income now, if you really want to be financially stable in this music thing, right? And we had an issue with cutters. You know, everybody have their issues, like money ain't being represented properly.
Right.
They tell me you have to submit your performance lists of where you perform and then they tell we you had to do X by Y, We do all of that a year. And the money come back smaller, you know, KG. I was like, how, dog? How? But here the straw that break the camel back now. So as I say, big up the Fire, and Fireball was on your program. They had the first ever hip hop and R&B award when they had a Cut Awards, right? The nominees were Spot Rushers with a song that never released. How me, you know? But at least we was a rap group. I can't remember the next nominee. A kind of R&B guy. Can't remember. Judah, big up whoever him there, right? And Fireball. With wah 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 wah. How, KG? How that in the hip hop and R&B category? How? Right? Boom shot. He win.
Fire, you never tell me that one.
He win.
Fireball, you never tell me you win the people and them award. Fire, you must take you back the award. Fire, we go talk.
Yeah, why you think it was? The song was so big.
Yeah.
They had to give him something.
But that is not a hip hop song.
So him in a category where he must win.
Nah, I don't.
Create a category where he must
win. That make no sense.
So
that's my bad thing.
Dan, me and my manager get up in the middle of the woods and walk out, you know. Big up to Cuban wherever you're there. Me and my manager, we went the after party though. But we get up here in the awards and walk out, dog.
So 3 people was nominated.
Yeah.
You.
No, Spot
Rushers for a hip hop song. Judah was singing what?
It was like a R&B crossover, I can't remember.
Right, and Fireball.
With that, with the Weather remix, the what's the name? The Weather. Yeah. The big one that was huge out there.
What I want.
The remix though.
Right?
The one that went international, right? And you shoot the video. Yeah, dog. And I was like, nah, all the can't be serious. When we going back in cut now, they tell me, we want to know how? Well, it was registered as a pop mix and we thought that it fall under hip hop. I said, what? I said, all right, cool. At the same time, there was another performing rights organization making little waves at the time called Awesome. And if you remember them time, right? And they had, this is so funny, right? We talk about technology earlier. They had digital fingerprinting technology. What you know as Content ID, where you just be pulling up, you're submitting your songs to your distributor and thing now to all your DSPs, your Spotify, however, how you could claim for your song on YouTube. That technology they was implementing, this is over 10 years ago. So that anywhere your song play, on any radio or TV station in Trinidad and Tobago, they get the data and you could sit down and see where and when your song play. That making payments more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not streamlined, but transparent. And that also, as you as a business, you marketing and promoting your songs, you could see, where it playing, when it play, all right, who's that DJ that time, all right, he gained it, so you could do your little market research now. So we decided, as the company Highway Records, that year, that was 2010, and we had some hits. We had a song called Cold Blooded, went number 1 on Synergy, me and John, shout out. We released Kane, we released Little Saint under the label, and all of these songs was doing extremely well on radio, but registered with this new performance rights organization. Me as a solo artist, Chromatics, I with Cut, but the label Highway Records with this organization. The songs playing is hundreds of rotation when we check back the data now. But they say they get in a little trouble to get money from these stations because people don't know, and I'm glad we sharing this information. Radio stations and media houses have to pay a blanket license fee to use music.
That's music on a whole,
on a whole, right? And then of course they cut this, get that, and then take their share, and then share out the rest. However they feel like, as far as I'm concerned, right? Right. So boom, now the Awesome didn't really have that relationship with a lot of the stations. And when we went to the stations now to say, all right, well, the music being played, you know, we cut a deal. There's like, what? Who is all there? We done paying cut already. Why we had to pay all the thing twice, whatever. And there's like, fuck that. We pulling all your music off the station with no intent to play it again and no intent to pay the money.
So you all was going to stations individually?
Awesome was, the company was.
Oh, Awesome was doing it.
Right, they already had established relationships, and that is why it kept playing on Boom.
Oh,
because
so whoever
Boom and them
was signed under the Awesome umbrella.
whoever they had a deal, a deal
with.
Not registered. So as I say, so like the radio stations just pay cut.
Right.
So when you sign with cut, you basically giving them the right to you know, collect on your behalf, right, for the use of your music. These radio stations pay a fee for the use of the music, right? Same thing with Awesome, but the radio stations wasn't paying Awesome no fee, right? Highway Records was under that, and as I said, there's like, why are we paying twice? Why are we paying all that? Who's all there? You know what I mean? But Boom and that group of companies had an agreement with Awesome, so that's why the music wasn't banned there. But it was banned everywhere else. And that's when we went and protested in front of a radio station and all kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? And as I say, that just drive me more. You know what I mean? That is when, as I say, they say career done. I remember people hitting me up I talking to people in backstage in certain events or whatever, and it's like, Matrix, nobody want to touch you right now, and nobody want to do nothing with you, you know, because you just, I said, all right, Carnival Rap Up in the middle.
Yeah.
You understand? And then
create my own lane, basically.
Dog, I could give you some stories about that whole scene, dog. You know what I mean? I remember I talk about doing jingles for certain companies after. I don't remember the first Carnival Rap Up, right? Create such a stir.
Of course.
And Marshall had the big mobile deal at the time.
Right.
And I say, I had a buddy whisper in the grapevine that he leaving and he might go up the next competitor. Well, I put the graphic. I just do my own graphics. I change the graphic in the end into a red graphic as opposed to a green now. Well, my co-manager at the time, like a year later, basically reached out to them. I think he was doing different events, looking for sponsorship. Marketing manager at the time, we will never work with Chromatics ever! What? I was like, all right, boom. Boom shot now. As I say, the next few years later, in an event, marketing manager at the time, I love your thing, I love what you're doing. I said, what we gonna do? Fully produced, write the jingle. Just like your instance. You know what I mean? People saying that, and you was talking off a camera about certain people, staff and whatever. Companies is a company, but people make up companies. And the people let us change. Right through. You know what I mean? And you never know, people could get in position where they have a better vision of what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago and what making sense. You know what I mean?
So, Matrix, as I say, what you're saying is correct, right? As in, no matter how to put it, like, be you, basically, right? And once you're doing good, once you're doing well, these companies may still come to you, right? How you used to maneuver? Because since I know you, bro, you always was very corporate, but still very anti-corporate, you know what I'm saying? So you would say things and you might do things that people would assume corporate would never, you know, companies mightn't want to align with those things. How you used to maneuver through the business? Because I think that is something that we could teach the youths, right? As in the sense of art could become very edgy at times. So like we just say the Trinidad industry. I believe that corporate not working with Trinidad artists, not because of the killings and whatnot, is because they probably just don't know how to do business with companies. Because look at me, for instance. Right? I Trinidad, and people will see me as Trinidad. Trinidad on my chain. You know, I just be around certain Trinidad artists, you know, but I still have a lot of relationships in.
You see, it's how you maneuver, and let me keep this train of thought. you see 2 interviews, KG. I love all the interviews.
Yeah.
But I'll say, I love Wendell. Big up Wendell,
Big up
him
Wendell,
there.
man.
Big up Wendell, we have him there. We could talk about Wendell too.
Yeah.
Right? 2 interviews where I realized something. You see the Seka interview and the Gary Griffith interview.
Right.
Your interviews might be controversial or people might be cussing on the place or doing whatever, but you kept it professional, brother.
Right.
You see that how you keep your composure. I show you watching the comments
Yeah,
with that Seka vibe. But at the end of the day, you kind of, hopefully you reached to the end result of what you're trying to achieve, but you was the ultimate professional in that scenario. And the Gary Griffith, I'll tell you why about the Gary Griffith, right? You see that, I feel you keep your composure more with Gary Griffith than,
For sure.
Seka.
Yeah. Because still kinda
I tell
say
you
what
why.
to say in Seka.
Because, and that's why I don't like about certain people, dog, and certain people's in quote-unquote power. You see the condescending way that they just want to talk to people and talk down to people?
I'm not on that. Yeah.
Correct, but you were able to, you understand that, all right, I can't be coming and taking it personal necessarily. I have to maneuver, and I think that is what the brand see.
Right.
You know what I mean? The brand see that is not, all right, the content might be racy, but the individual handle himself like a
You know, I never look at it that way. I really never look at it that way.
Handle himself like a professional, because I would have cost me, Gary.
Nah, I never, thanks for that one, bro, because I never really look at it in the way that you put it there, as in the sense of people looking at the show before those episodes could have probably just take the content as, you know, you know, what people are trying to make it seem like it is bacchanal thing and them kind of thing. And then after those episodes, I and all feel the temperature change within how people approach me as, I hate to call myself a journalist, bro, because that is not wise.
Well, you're in the space.
Right. But
because a podcaster, you
yeah,
prefer
a
that.
podcaster, right. You know, and that,
you're in the media.
I think people kind of saw my skill set a little more in that. So what you're saying makes sense now. So you think that
was the skill.
Right.
It's not just sitting down here and talking with me and trying to get conversation, because I could talk for hours because I do the same thing that you do.
True.
Right? But that composure to keep yourself in and direct interviews and direct the energy in a certain way where you keep it here and now, right? But still trying to achieve the goal of getting the information, getting the interview, etc.
Right. So you think that, like what I was saying about like the Trinidad industry,
well, like
you think that it come full circle as in the sense of, all right, all these things might be going around, but it's really how you,
correct,
when the brand look at you, so forget who dead and who gets shoot and who do this, but when they look at you, what are they seeing?
Correct. And I mean, when I look at the Seka interview, and then, let me be real, right? Trinidad, and most of the great music coming out of the hood, dog, coming out of very, very dire circumstances and artists, and great artists come from that.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but a lot of people might not understand that, you know what I mean? And I am very proud of Trinidad. I feel like I almost have a little hand in it too.
Yeah,
people might say like, what shit they talking about?
Of course, of course.
But we was the first one to get boy interview.
Right.
Interview you!
Of course. No.
Who's playing the music?
You?
Correct.
Yeah, let me real.
Not to toot my own horn, but
no, let me real.
That is what we're here to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I would tell you, I've had behind the scenes conversations, dog, where corporate entities want to deal with it. But the violence, dog, you see, Trinidad is a small place, so it's not like America or different things. And even an update, you could run into some shit for the things you say.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, you could say what you want and see what you want in a track. And I learned this too. But you can dictate how somebody will respond to it or react to it. You know what I mean? And so, as I say, the corporate entities want to do business, but they're scared. They are scared. So that's why, as I say, I'm very proud of the movement that.
But what you think they're scared of, though? Like, what exactly you will put your finger on and say they are scared of this happening?
Bro, all right, so let me give you an example, right? I ain't gonna say the artist name, however, I ain't gonna say the club opener.
Yeah.
You book an artist for a club, a Trinidad artist,
right?
A club appearance. And it's because they have to hire X by Y police is because when the artist coming out is 10 men, guns, nobody want to deal with that shit, bro. And I telling all you here now, I love all your brothers, all you fucking up the bag, dog. Bad. The music is so powerful, all you do is so powerful. Get to the bag, dog. Empower your brothers and your community. And you have said it before, and I always say it. One artist, one successful artist does employ how much people, dog?
Correct.
Is engineer, is producer, is makeup artist, is videographer.
So it's like you're really fucking up the bag
You're
now,
fucking
in
up
the
the
long
bag.
run now. Because my vision, I remember when we was now doing the Trinidad thing in the 80s, and I was like a videographer. I used to put myself behind as an artist and hold a camera. I used to be on stage with men with my camera, and I still try to be an artist, but I used to watch it like, alright, if this one boss, producer boss, cameraman boss, everybody on the plane, we go in every way. That's how I used to see it. And it was like that in the beginning, like when it now happened, Swan used to say, come with me, KG, videographer, you go bring Starboy Johnny, DJ, come,
DJ,
and
videographer.
yeah, and you get to see like things happening and people growing. And I used to be like, right, this is how it's supposed to be. And then boom, you reach that point where nobody can really make money now. And that's the reality.
Cayman talk on your podcast the other day, bro.
Let me talk about Cayman, bro. Right?
Before we get to it.
Yeah. But I want to ask you, but go ahead.
The man say he didn't realize that when he going to do show and the whole country banning him. You understand what I'm saying?
He didn't know it would be that bad.
What we doing this for, dog? We ain't doing it for money, But if we not, that the end goal, like to lift we up out of this thing and provide for we family and also the community. And when I say community, it could be an actual physical community where you live. It could be a community of brethren. It could be a community of people who helped you get there, because no man is an island. You understand? There was always somebody who had a little role to play anything. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
But as you say, like, the goal was to come out and make the bag, and to me, that's why I doing this thing for, Right. But as you bring up the Cayman, I want to ask you this now. So I do the interview with Cayman. I know everybody expecting me to ask him certain things that they're seeing, like the shooting on the highway, Plumpy getting shoot, and Plumpy going back and forth on the media, dissing each other. We seeing certain gang members and gang leaders getting locked up, gang leaders dying, gang members dying around these artists, right? It's a real thing. It's like a movie going on right in front of your face.
I know that I tell people scared. So you see what I say?
Right,
go ahead.
It's a movie, right? So obviously when people see KG go on interview Cayman now, they want to hear about, hey, so what going on that day when you walk out the airport and Tanty dead by the window and all kind of thing. But I been radiomatics. That wasn't my intention. There's a real thing. That's what they want me to ask. You know? But that was never my intention, because I already seeing what going on. As you say, brands don't want to deal with all and thing. And in not just all year, but extension myself too. Because I wrong all year, I part all year. So I am all getting sabotaged to a certain degree. So if I come into interview Cayman, and you tell me if I wrong for this, right, bro, as somebody who in this space, I don't want to bring that energy. I feel we could have swing it another way.
And that's why, and everybody should get a strike, because you could have looked for the easy forward.
I could have just
the
run
easy forward would have been.
And I would have got a million views in one day. But I be with you, bro. That wasn't my intention. And I want the people to know this too, because I was going to do this on another pod. But as you bring up the talk, I could say it now. I know these men personally. I come up with Swanee, Plumpy, Med, Jalano, everybody. I look at these men like my brothers. And I see them fall in the hole. And it was very hurtful to see. Because we work hard. And Trinidad explode. And then in less than no time, you see artists start to drop. And the whole thing changed now.
So I have an outlook on it, and I want to share it with you.
But let me just finish.
Sorry.
I just wanted to go there with the intention of painting a different, not a fake picture, but just giving them another side to the artist. Because I also believe that these artists fall into a hole and then realize, because even he said in the interview, he said, if I knew this would have happened, I might not start so violent. He thought he might have bossy, but I get a little forward, but he didn't know. it would have been so deep. And when you watch the views on Cayman interview and certain things, you realize how much influence these youths really have.
How much
So
views
he
that was
didn't
in
know
like
that.
a day, like 30,000?
Can you even, like, be real? You feel like you could imagine that type of impact that Cayman have? Like before he got that impact, you thought he thought I would do a song and get 5 million views in a month. Or he never
and then
thought so.
you know, they don't have the, when I say don't have the education, within the music space, they don't understand the music,
right.
And
so I
obviously-
went just to, you know, to bring a different side, and I think that I achieved that basically. But what is your thoughts though, as in me as a podcaster and saying, you know what?
No, but I just tell you, I say
Yeah.
I'm glad that you didn't go down that road, because to take the easy forward, I'll give you an example. I was one of the first to interview Temper, right? On my station, which I plug whole night. Our radio.fm playing no less than 75% TNT music. If you want to know what happened in Trinidad and Tobago music, that's the only station you could tune into.
That is it.
That is just facts, right? We know Temper is whatever, right?
I say whatever.
No, when I say, like, her vibe, whatever.
Yeah.
And I call her and I talk to her on management any time. I was like, I want to bring up X by Y. I go say it here. I go say it.
Yeah.
Sexuality.
Yeah.
Right? And I call and I talking to her. I said, would you be open to discussing that? She said, yeah. But when I reach in the interview now, and I realize that this is like one of our first few interviews,
Right.
she mightn't be as articulate or experienced to go down
So you
this
feel
topic.
that energy.
I was like, nah, I
Right.
ain't bound to go there for no easy forward though.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm gonna build the trust with the artist also.
Right,
too. Yeah.
right. You know what I mean? I mean, these are real things that we're dealing with.
Right, of course.
As I say, sexuality, especially amongst young women and whatever. Right? So it's sense. And we ain't looking for that easy forward. We bigger than that, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, most importantly, the music is the music. I mean, what people to tell their story. But a lot of these artists green, like real green, in terms of not doing interviews and not doing the kind of interview this, they ain't doing this.
Like I see somebody leave a comment under the YouTube and they say, thank you KG for not asking Cayman certain questions that could have incriminated him. And the next thing I was thinking about too, dog, these fellas have gang charges and thing on them. Like, be real, I don't know what cases building on these men and thing. Why would I try to come and add to that? I am aware of this. I just a fan of Trinidad. I am also somebody who's passionate about Trinidad.
And see what went on and how it...
Correct. I know what's going on. I can tell all you things that all you have shock going on.
I have a
you know?
But here's the funny thing about it, right, though? And this is why I just get vexed, though. Here why I just get vexed about boy, KG, boy. Two things. I have a song on my new album, Plugging Again, called Hammer and Chisel, right? So I had a song back in the day called Bitter This Bitter Part 2. Right? You're not vexed with the creators. No, you're not vexed with the consumers, but you're close on the creators.
Right.
When the gangsters is the only ones that's acting as investors.
It's a real thing.
Ain't no corporate entity.
Yeah.
Ain't no businessman, very few or far between, investing in these youths. Who it is, for the most part, a lot of the times.
Yeah.
The gangsters are them, right?
Of course, yeah.
So they must pick a fucking side,
Of
dog.
course.
They must choose a side,
How not to?
right? So who wrong?
The
Who wrong?
people that not fucking helping.
And I'm gonna go back to this now. How many artists I interview KG on the grind? I don't know if you probably watched a good few grind episodes.
One of my favorite episodes with you is with Young Brother. Yeah,
I will talk about that too, because that end up on our platform, eh?
Yeah.
MTD right. Anyway,
Yeah.
right? Where I was going with it.
Oh God. What are you talking about?
Right, the gangs acting as investors and
who go help them?
right, and who will help them. Right, but what I was saying, what I was getting vexed about is with regards to the interviews, talking about my interviews. How many artists within the Trinidad space have come on my platform, and probably yours too? I think Cayman said it too.
Yeah.
I used to sing positive, good music, you know.
And not only I used to, I have a lot of positive songs.
Correct.
Who paid attention to it?
So right, so you see, sensationalism is a serious thing. So Shabba says, sex sells. Sex and violence sells.
Right.
And it's sensationalism. You see these things, you're attracted to it, you want to see it. It might be shocking, but it leaves you with this imagery, this vibe now, you know what I mean? So, if they ain't getting no love, Jalano say, I wanted to be a reggae star.
Of course. Jalano is his name.
But what said him?
Trinidad.
What they want, KG. What they want?
He tell you? He tell you what they want. He tell all what they want. Yeah, he tell all this straight up. That's what they want.
Right, so when they come and judge, Boy say the same thing. I used to play tunes from Boy and I didn't even realize it was he before on the grind because I play, once you send me good thing, I play in it. Yeah. And when Boy come and say Matics, I used to sing, you know, and when I sing X by Y,
when I get through,
sell off.
Yeah.
And then I hear the thing and the heights in it now. Remember, I used to have my show on terrestrial radio, 99.1 FM, the grind start day, right? And I remember when Trinidad blew in. When I started back the grind in 2019 or 18, whatever it was, program directors and music directors comment, boy, the song's bad, but we don't want to play it. We don't want to play too much of that. And I said, fuck away with that. I play in it. Even if I have to edit it myself, because I love about Trinidad, they may make it no radio edit. Radio edit for who? You understand? I realized, well, I got to edit it my damn self. Right? But just to get the fucking thing air and a platform. Because the streets done hot with it.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And the streets dictate everything. Ganja farmer, streets, you know what I mean? Everything, you know what I mean? And that is what does make me sad, is because all they're now judging these youths for singing this music, but all it wasn't giving them the forward or the platform when they was singing good things. Not good things, but other things.
And still, because them using them have positive music. Came and say he have more positive songs than gang songs. And if it's a K-Man fan, you know that is true. It's just that when he say and them thing, it holding on. But if it's a K-Man fan, K-Man drop a EP some months ago, full of positive song. The next one Chinese, what you call Phoenix, full of positive song. Plumpy Boss, look who's coming up the highway and was playing this song.
What's the tune that Boss Plumpy?
The whole album was My Journey, positive, Wabba Swanee, brother.
On the ground.
You understand?
Well, go for them too.
Well, but when things are really send it to the, you know that way.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of positive songs come out of Trinidad, same way too.
Same way, but
it's
almost like, so who is to blame?
Yeah. But you feel like people,
but
sometimes I just feel like people just say that because they want to create that narrative so Trinidad will stifle. Because sometimes I ask myself, because like, even he came on interview.
Guess what, dog? You know, I just watch. You see all them hot girl and them on Instagram with 50 and 100.
Sometimes I feel that why they don't like Trinidad either.
The stories.
Because they
get like the stories.
Yeah, I saw freaks. Big up to Fire. You understand? Zerima thing.
It dies what they played. And as I say, you see, how does get vexed? Why they probably just get vexed? Because downtown is always dictate uptown pace. You know what I mean? And these uptown girls and them, they were listening. But
here there's Matics. You know what's killing me too? Before Trinidad, they used to talk about Jamaican dancehall in the same way. You know, like the Tommy Lees and the... You know, like just stop talk about that. Like now when they talk about negative music, they run to Trinidad. They don't even, but skeng on them, 100 call we have 100 shop. Like that ain't negative music no more, that hit song. Like big artists.
Let me say something, bro. And that goes back to, you say I repost something and a man get vexed with it.
Oh God. Matters get me in trouble. Matters get me in trouble. Let me tell you this story. Now why is a man does do full-length podcasts, right? 2 hours long, that kind of vibe. But certain clips I do cut out. Right? So if I call a man name or something, I won't cut out that because I ain't looking for no beef in it. And then I feel like certain conversations need context. Correct. So if I call a man name or something, I won't just post a 2 minute. I'd rather you see exactly what I was talking about. But Matics posted a clip and I was talking about, you know, me and Tommy Shimoda, it was Flippo interview. And me and Tommy Shimoda was on a live with Tech Songs and Trinidad Killer. And I was saying, there's our next conversation we could go into Matics, But I was saying that I was asking Tommy, you don't think it's strange that the American industry, the Jamaican industry, the English industry, the Afrobeat industry, wherever it is, you don't find like they move forward a lot quicker. And for some strange reason, Trinidad industry kind of stifled. I say you don't think it have a reason for that? Now we are talking about radio play and all these things. And I think that people, when we talk about radio play, people let's stick on, well, you don't need the radio to play all the music. But I don't know about you, Matix, but I just watch it more broad. As in radio play is just one thing.
Correct.
We're talking about a structure, a system that is rigged basically. Not just the radio. The radio is part of the problem, right? But when artists like yourself and Trinidad Killer, whoever, talk about the radio, there's what you're like criers now. Like all they're looking for a handout. And that's not true. Or you're not looking for no handout.
No.
Or you're looking for respect, right? And all they think, all they deserve to. You know that, boy?
I would even say is about us personally. Like, you know what I mean? We see the bigger picture,
right?
The bigger problem.
Not just because Trinidad Killer music does play on the radio.
Correct.
And he still talk about it. So, correct. So I was saying that, Tommy, you don't think that it must have a reason for that? You know, maybe the DJs need to do a little more homework. All these things I was saying, you know, do research on what really going on. You know, a lot of them does catch up when things done hot. You understand? So I was telling him that, and he was like, brother man, I don't care about none of that. Once my bills pay any month. That was the man's exact words. I never tell him to say that, and you say that, bro. Now, I'm a man in the industry, and I'm very passionate about the industry.
Correct.
So I go in and feel that way about that, Tommy. Even if you probably didn't mean it anyway, you thought you mean it or whatever it is, bro. I just didn't appreciate the fact that you say that. Because you're a man working on, quote-unquote, the #1 radio station. I just saying, yeah, the #1 radio station in the country. You should not be speaking like that too. Especially if it's me, you, tech songs, killer on a line.
Well, let me ask this question, right? So let me flip it now, right? Your bills paid, right?
Yeah.
What paying your bills?
Correct.
What paying your bills?
Correct. The music, the industry.
If it had no music to play, you getting salary to play bills? Now, granted, they might be playing all the foreign thing, but it's still what? Music.
It's still music, so you had to care.
You had to care, Jed. And as I said, we all part of this ecosystem. Let me give you an example. And I think, you know, men is be lazy. I think it's come a long way, especially with younger DJs. They just check for the artists and them, you know what I mean? But a lot of the men and them lazy, dog. Whatever hot trending thing.
Just run that.
They know about how to build artists.
Right.
What I tell you earlier, jugglers boss Chromatics, our song system, cell construction boss spot rushers in a clash.
Right.
You understand? Cell construction cut was the group at the time was recording by Father Yo, big up to Madman, big up Father Yo every time. They was recording it and it's like, yo guys, we want Cell Construction, one of the top song systems at the time, cut her dub plate. Everybody thought it was Junior Mafia or something thing. When they dropped that plate in a thing called Swarm, a clash called Swarm, everybody's like, what is that? Men afraid to take that risk. But with great risk comes great reward. And you need to understand that you have a function as a DJ, as I say, right? Yes, you could, it's to entertain and keep the party hot, but a real good DJ know how to blend songs that aren't as popular into the mix and build. And it's almost like you have a stake in it. It's almost like you have a stake in building this artist or whatever. And I don't forget no DJ that take a chance on me. You understand? Shotmaster J, Devon Matthews, rest in peace, you know what I mean? Them fellas pick up my tune and just start to play it. I was like, wow, shot with Chromatics, the tune is bad. Whatever, you know what I mean? And you gotta keep your ears open and understand that we are all part of this industry. People like to say we do have an industry in Trinidad. I disagree with that.
Me too.
It just don't function as well as it could. They go out saying?
Yeah. I guess that real thing. So I will take this time, you know, to let my brethren Tommy know, you know, it's not no hard feelings. You know, it's just that I really just want to see men respect the thing a little more. You know, I know that we all love this thing, otherwise we would not be in it. You know, but certain things I think we have to take a little more serious.
As I said just now, bro, like without the music, all I know what. Don't take that as no disrespect, that's just facts. Because DJs play an important role, radio stations play an important role, and they have bills to pay, they have money to make, yes. But if you have no music, you have no work. I could go and stand up on the street corner and sing my tune, and people, 4, 5, 10, 100 people know my song and go and hustle or whatever, and push my music. But without the music, you have no work, Jed. So you need to understand that you're all part of the thing. We all part of the thing.
Yeah, we all part of the thing. So as we on the topic of we all in this thing, this thing is made up of all different things. There's the artists, is the producers, the videographers, big up the graphic men, big up the managers, big up the road managers, big up the assistants who just shooting the calls. You know, we are all part of this thing. And then we have the promoters, and we also have the stage managers. You know, I know you see me interview Mr. Wendell. You know, big up Mr. Wendell.
One of my favorite interviews of yours.
Yeah, mine too. Big up Mr. Wendell for sure. Yeah. What is your experience with Mr. Wendell?
You don't remember Puppet? The same tune I tell you about when I sing about Puppet?
Right.
So Eddie hides in the end of the puppet, because you know you pull the string, you know. Pull the string, pull the string, pull the string if you can't do nothing. And them time dancing hot in the space now, the passa and all them thing. You know. Wendell slap,
Yes,
Wendell slap if you love Super Cat.
Hey, that's what you did say? See, I forget.
And I did chorus was, because this is for Charlotte Barry and Chinese laundry. I'm your puppet, Wendell from Synergy. And if you even ask Peter C, I'm your puppet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was making fun of the industry, making fun of myself and making fun of the industry, and as I said, that would make everybody laugh. But I'll tell you this about Wendell, Dan. I just realized he's a man that's serious about the job. And me and him have had, Wendell booked me for shows and things already.
Right.
Because he realized Wendell have a great eye for talent and
does.
Understand talent and appreciate talent.
And professionalism.
Well, yes, obviously. And he appreciates when you're professional about things. Sometimes he's taking a little overboard. Yeah. But rightfully so, because it's tough love.
Yeah.
I chalk it up to that. But certain men can't take it. Dan, I remember Spot Rush will be opening for Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh.
Right.
Dan Wendell both feel like little children in the backstage. And I say after that, I said, I want that again. I want that again, dog. I don't know if you reached late. I can't remember. This is 20 years ago, if not. You know what I mean? I say, I ain't going through that again. Nobody went that way. So, and I think that stands, if you understand what we're trying to do, if you understand what you're really trying to do, it's nothing personal, you know. You understand? He really trying to push you.
He does, yeah.
To be better in your how you carry yourself, how your business or whatever. Because he see that you have the potential.
Of course.
He go check for you once you carrying yourself and dealing with your thing in a certain way. You know what I mean? So rare people that talk shit about Wendell, he don't care.
Yeah, he don't
care. He ain't business, right? Yeah. And I bought him out to this song. He liked the song too. Yeah. But guess what? When that tune dropped, he bring me on Synergy.
To perform that?
No. Oh. He said, I want you to perform Chromatics. Because who forget who's the owner and the director. I wouldn't say that because I could have go and sing it.
Yeah.
But out of respect,
of course,
I didn't need to. Once again, I didn't need the cheap forward. I have his body of work, I could sing other tune, whatever, right? Because guess what? I don't know if you remember that Friday Night Live. They used to have full bands.
Right, yeah.
I understand what was going on. I hold long an hour, the whole episode with my band. Yeah. Hip hop artists. Yeah. You understand? Before me was the Orange Sky. I understand that this bigger, this to represent and represent what we're doing and show what could happen, the possibilities. I ain't gonna fuck it up for a cheap forward, dog. Yeah. You know what I mean? I understand what I was doing. So respect to Wendell, man. You know what I mean?
So Matix, now I'm doing this podcast and I get a lot of calls already. You know, like I say certain things on the pod and certain, like especially soca artists. You know, them call me, I've been real big soca artists. If I want to tell all you, I want to interview some of them, so I ain't going to call their name yet. But the call man is like, KG, see this, and I have to be like, hey, it's entertainment, it's our podcast. Don't be calling me off what I say. No, you just do the wrap it up. You can't even wrap up. You calling everybody name in one shot. You ever get any calls from any big artists like the Toten Feelings that you put them in the song?
Yeah. First one, the first one was such a shocker because
especially the first
nobody
one.
had
Yeah.
ever do anything like that in music.
And I went super viral.
Super
That was viral before viral.
Thank you very much. It was the first viral
That
song.
was viral before viral.
Correct is right?
No radio play, nothing. Just viral.
Just viral. You know what I mean? I think it was like 60,000 in 2 days, which is still great numbers to this day, you know what I mean? And especially for that time, you know, we're talking 13 years ago, right? Swappy
Call ya?
dig real horrors.
Whoa.
But swap pun, respect to my brother.
Yeah.
Nah, Dan, don't study that.
Don't study that. Trinidadians really like to disrespect me.
No, because
and then say don't study that, boy.
You say, men and see lots. Yeah. Men and see lots sweaty. They want to know what to do. I was like, yo, let them listen to rap. Let them listen to
I don't need that, boy. Dog, Trinidadian first instinct is to go to badness, boy. Why want you so, boy? For the simplest thing, a man go get greasy.
Dog.
Bad man thing one time.
Yeah, man. I say, what was it? I see Swappy do a show getting head and seal.
Yeah.
When I check it out, he wearing an upside down cross. It's treated as Z666, can't you see? That rum is not to drink, it only good to
Safini.
Right, ready?
Yeah, so you told.
Yeah. Because as I say, it was such a shocking thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? People never experienced nothing like that, you know what I mean?
Who else? Swappy alone?
No. But anyway, so just to clear up, Swappy come and there's actually a video online, it's still online, where he come in Highway Records and we talk and we think and we think. You know what I mean? We doing this visual thing long time too by KG boy. And then Destra boy dog boy.
Destra too?
Yeah, boy dog boy. Destra called Smooth and Smooth called me and Smooth is like, Whamtam. Smooth say, Destra say, Whamtamatics dread. How we go take X by Y and ting and ting and ting.
What you say about Destra this one?
She need to pack up and regroup or go have another youth. That wasn't that bad. Like, when you think about it, it wasn't that bad, though. It wasn't that bad. But
Wow.
as I say, it's so shocking the first time around. You know
There's nobody doing that.
Nobody ain't doing that. And it had no platforms like this where people talking. It had no Wendy Williams. And the little one. It didn't even have no drama Wednesday.
Yeah. They go to the radio station to really. And them been talking about them.
Them been talking about them thing, dog. You know what I mean? So it was an unveiling of certain things. And going back to the whole be mobile to Digicel thing.
Yeah.
A man messaged me years after. He said, Chromatics is a seer, man. Because remember, it actually happened.
Yeah,
he went from me mobile.
He jumped ship. Yeah,
right? So, I mean, and then over the years, well, I don't know if you see what happened in 2023.
With what?
With Little Miss Arima.
Preppy?
Yeah. She dig her ass.
Oh, yes. How?
Me, you know.
What was that again?
The line was... Remember the whole Fire Fed thing?
Right. Yeah, right.
Couldn't thing go up on stage, wherever come off the stage. And I basically say, if a man, you better call up Faye and upgrade your man. Yeah, because Fayan had this song, upgrade him, that same thing, right? So it's like, you know, I'm using these, you know, the writing sick, you know, the pen game sick now, right? But at the same time,
so how she calls, so like, what she do?
I don't know, dog.
She call you, she message
Nah,
you?
she ping up on the Twitter. Yeah, she going up on the Twitter, man, messaging me. You know, to have a big soca group on WhatsApp.
I get part of the group the other day.
Good.
I was in the group.
You was in the group and you get part?
Just the other day. Yeah.
That's all right.
I was there for about...
Is that the reason why I sing outside, man, you know? But you go ahead.
And they promote.
Yeah,
they promote. A while they wanted to promote, you know.
But that is all right. That is all right. But anyway, I mean, dog, and the reality is, I rate this dog. Yeah, and I play music and whatever, you know what I mean?
It's entertainment.
I know Curtin Road says, oh God, he moving with pun and oh God, shade and all of them.
And not only that, they're supposed to know that what you does do.
Oh God, but no, she say,
wrap it up.
It's not satire and thing, whatever, and then she say,
it's not satire?
Nah, you say, you're disguising it as satire and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yo, whatever, dog. Like, I ain't look for shit. But it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Anybody ever brace in public?
Nah.
Like seeing an event and walk up to you and say, "Dog, you can't let my song and them boy."
Nah. Any joke, I coming back anyway. I don't come back from New York. I remember we can go down and show there. Go on by the bar. I sit down right here, KG. Person sit down right there. The head wrap shades on and thing. I had to look 3 times because it's necessary. You know?
Yes.
I was like, damn, though.
She talked to you nothing.
Me, Eddie Charles, when I was only playing. Nah, but it's all good though.
Oh, yeah.
Wherever, that's why I don't watch no scene now, Joe. Come on, we bigger than that, you know what I mean? It's minor thing. And that's why where we was having a conversation off camera about soca artists and they you know, they can't take these kind of things.
So somebody was asking me at the time, there was like, is the soca industry one of the only industries that you cannot critique? Because I could pour my camera and I could talk about all kind of artists and nobody gonna study KG. But from the time I open my mouth and say, Marshall, Bungie, Fayan,
Nobody knows.
viral.
Yeah, viral.
Everybody vexed with KG.
Everybody vexed.
So is it that we,
Yes,
you know, like,
I don't know why, and I think we should open ourselves up more to having discussions and critique. Dog, from the time you say, I am an artist and I am putting myself out for public consumption, not just your music, yourself, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be critiqued. And you have to take that. You know what people say shit about me, bro?
come on.
And people get real low with it too.
Yeah.
Real low.
Right.
And you know what I mean? You just had to...
It's part of it.
Part of the game,
Part of
dog.
it.
The blessings has come same way with them things.
As you're on this topic, I want to big up Nyla Blackman.
Of course.
Right? You know why I want to big up Nyla? Because I am seeing that she is intentionally trying to break the rules of a soca artist.
From long time.
When it comes to content too. Not just the music, but the way how she presents herself. Like the type of things, I will tell you that Chinese, like the type of things Nyla would post. I want her to take a page out of her book.
And when she went on Joe Budden podcast and
right,
talked, she talked. You know what I mean?
all them kind of thing. Even there was Anson's birthday. And her birthday post was them on the bullet thing, the roller coaster thingy. You know, but that in itself was very creative to me, because you could see that she had that video in her files for so long, and she was like, I'm going to post this on your birthday. Where a soca artist might just post a picture, happy birthday, you know. But Nyla does break the barrier. She even had a video the other day where she was talking about soca artists don't stunt. Why when we try to stunt is taboo, you know. So she was in the Rolls Royce and she was throwing the money, but off a joke. But she was trying to say like other artists do it, like they show off their cars and they show off their money.
Well, I know about that part.
You know?
They do, and we do at Trinidad. But
You think so?
Yeah.
Soca artists?
Yes.
How?
That is the special thing about Trinidad.
I never see a soca artist post that kind of thing.
Trinidad, no, well, not posting.
No, I mean like
back in the day, Marshall riding around with the
like
BM
Marshall,
dog.
But I Marshall. We know Marshall, the top dog.
Bungie.
Die Bungie in the Lexus and
No. Before that, when he win the soca money, wherever he pushing the Lancer and the Lancer.
But I Bungie and Marshall.
Correct.
There was the two dogs.
Yeah.
They don't even have to show anything for us to know that they are the dogs. But like we don't see that culture in the soca.
And I say we ain't bound for it though.
You think so?
Nah, you know why? Because Trinidadians are watching it.
No, but I don't think so. No, because I think that the industry, and it don't necessarily mean have a star chain or throwing money in the air like you in the strip club. But I think that we don't show the fruits of their labor, so the youths are really inspired to be a soca artist.
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with that.
I think so, because I think that when you're
Maybe.
growing up, you just look up to artists because of their persona and their image and their lifestyle, basically. I think that when we was growing up, we wasn't seeing that, so we kind of drifted the Jamaican industry and drifted the hip hop.
That is not the reason.
You don't think so?
Disagree with me. That is not the reason, KG. And burn me out if you want to burn me out, whoever out there. It's only men like Gallon and Treason and thing. You know what I mean? Soca doesn't sing about weed, dog, really and truly. It does sing about this one little time in the year.
Well, all that tie into the same thing too.
That
the
is
content
why-
to represent, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is why the youths and them gravitate more towards the dancehall, the reggae, the hip hop, because the content of the music represents more so the day-to-day lives, whatever that might be, you know what I mean? And no disrespect, but all the soca artists know it, because if I'm wrong, then why are you singing about the road and why are you singing about the fete? That shit only happens for a few months in the year. That's why Blessings is such a big song.
Correct.
Because that you could listen that whole year, the story, the message, everything, it could apply any time of the year. So, and artists need to do within the soca industry, not to say artists don't have that type of music, and not to say artists only singing about the festival.
Of course,
And they have both types of music, you know what I mean? But Dan, when I fly out there, we're the only people that soca music playing 24/7, 365 outside of Trinidad and Tobago, you know. All the other islands, all in the US, all in Europe. We're the only ones that just lock it off.
They love the soca.
No, but I'm saying, if we was to play soca music more around the year in Trinidad and Tobago, I think artists would write different types of songs to connect with people, or not be afraid to release the songs that they have that are different. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't think it have anything to do with the floss.
No,
yes,
I think it ties into everything. I think that pop culture is important in anything, in any genre of music. It could even be hip-hop music, it could be reggae, it don't matter. It will always have the cultural side to the music, but what does drive the industry is the pop culture part. If you understand what I'm saying. It must have the front runners that the youths and them coming up and going with whatever trending. They have to go to school and say, hey, all you see this? And to me, that is where it does grow from.
True.
I don't know if you agree with me.
Yeah.
I think Trinidad,
image is an important thing.
And image is part of it, but I was just trying to refer to just the whole swag of what is soca. And I think that, like what Nyla was saying, we need to work on that. Like, why not? Like, look at Nyla, look at Shensia. They are not different. You know, as in, one from Jamaica, one from Trinidad. They're both sexy, they're both beautiful women, they both have great music. But for some strange reason, Shensia kind of went ahead. And I think, in my personal opinion, I think it's just because of the consumers of soca, which is dinosaurs too, the people in charge, the people who kind of say it.
But that's not the consumers, but the people in charge.
Well, I talking about, true, but I mean the consumers as in, because the consuming of soca is different to other genres now.
Very much.
Where it had to consume here first, and then them just trickle it down. Where the dancehall does come straight down to the ground. So when I say the consumers, I mean I probably like the soca DJs who just say, I'm going to put this in my mix. The promoters who say, I want to book these artists.
Dog, I got a woman call me tonight. I ain't going to say much. And tell
but I think like them.
What going on? You see, the industry is so small, even within that, and that's might be my problem with it, this bottleneck around Carnival time, and you expect everybody. That's why I get vexed with these men and them, dog. The same DJs and them, they'll be like, I remember we performing in Tobago for a great fete weekend. When I say we, Spot Rushers. We performing on Storby, beach. Mashing up the dance, right? Whatever. Pouring water and get out of it. Hoppy, go pull my square when we come off the stage. Damn, you're real bad, you know. Why you don't sing a soca, dog?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it have this bottleneck. It's like everybody gonna try and pass through this bottleneck. Thousands of artists in Trinidad gonna try and pass through this bottleneck within 2 months of the year. You know what I mean? And that ain't right. You know what I mean? And don't mind others sing my soca and my calypso. I must say calypso. I must say as what I do now is rapso. And I want to fully embrace that, because that is fully what Trinidad and Tobago is. As a genre of music originated here and very in line with the origins of hip-hop. When you look at what rapso is and the timing that it came out. Men like Stokely Carmichael and thing, who with the Black Power movement in America, Trinidad, you know what I mean? All of these things was happening, Black Power movement in Trinidad at the same time, happening around the same time, and that musical expression came out them time. So I consider what I do new age rap now. You know what I mean? You get hip hop, I get bars, I get lyrics, but I could blend it and go anyway. And as Galen say on my interview with him on the grind, he say that Trinidad and Tobago music, calypso, soca, rap, so that you're both right. So men who want to tell me about lucky sell out to go and sing about X by Y. Right? Nah.
Right.
How much artists KG was rappers and started singing Trinidad?
I know what a rapper, though. You know, like,
Yeah, but you went down that lane before it was popular. Real men out of popularity.
dancehall.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Real
Yeah,
men
true,
out
true,
of
true.
popularity just switch.
Yeah,
you
that's
know what I'm
switch, yeah.
saying? And I sing in guys, so the
Yes, man, I see a post on Saturday and you say, where the new hip hop music? You know, I'm in the comments talking about that shit. I just laugh at all you. Men talking about, I didn't get time to go in the studio. Really kind of mad thing that I
In
watch
this
in the
day and
comments.
age?
Yeah, I watch in the comments, I say, bro, God, this is crazy. You know, who you would say are some rappers right now, you could say, you know, really putting in the work?
Mike Wise.
Mike, correct. That is a name that's always called. So if they say, where did you? Mike Wise.
Mike Wise.
Big up Mike Wise all the time.
I'm not saying Mike Wise is no youth neither. Well, I mean, younger
But
than me.
I just call everybody youths, you know.
Thanks.
Yeah, because we still living on that old man's eyes, watch it like we never get chance to get big.
True.
You know, kind of.
But his consistency,
Yeah,
bro.
big up Mike Wise for
man,
sure.
putting out like an album or mixtape every
He's the only one you would
year.
say, if you had to be real.
Yeah, and not,
Really? If you had to really put your stamp on somebody and say, he is doing the right thing.
Mike Wise and Natty Royal.
Natty Royal. I don't know Natty Royal, you know. No, I don't know.
Touchdown with my gods like Bobo. We leave our mark like Bobo.
Oh, yeah, some tough
Nah,
out there.
dog. Yeah,
I know.
nah. Big up Natty Royal.
Yeah,
big up Mike Wise. And then it's really a hard press because with the grind. So promoting, I wanna we
Yeah,
could
you do
you know
your
I know we
thing.
cameraman. What the time
Yeah,
looking like there? Cause I wanna get into the radio talk too
Yeah, of course.
the grind and our radio.
I feel we have 20 half an hour again, you feel it? You know, we just do it.
Right, but yeah. So I mean, as I say, Mike Wise Natty Royal. But I ain't seeing nobody putting any work now.
Yeah.
Men will come on. This is what I don't understand. Men will come on, talk online, dog.
Yeah.
Fucking talk. Show me the work. Where
Yeah,
your
putting
work
the
at?
Putting the work.
Where your work?
Yeah, correct.
And now it is more easier than
Oh,
ever.
Lord, Matix.
You
And that
understand?
what has killed me the most about this whole thing.
It is more easier than ever. You could buy a 2x2
Yeah.
thing and do it for your damn self.
Oh, yeah,
bro.
do your thing.
You know what I mean? Even big records recording in bedroom and hotel room and
course,
thing.
of
International
course,
records.
of
Kanye
course.
West thing recording, and so you can't give me them
It
excuses.
have no excuse right
It
now.
have no excuse right now.
Yeah, none.
It have no excuse to create the music because you can lease a beat online for a 50 US,
50
30 US.
50 US, yeah.
How much money you have to pay for
Ooh, bad beat
original
to it.
beats?
Bad beat.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
yes, but you see, the thing about it too is, all right, you mightn't own it outright, but we come from rhythm culture.
Correct.
So if I'm on next that rhythm, but you had the rights to pour the music, dog.
Correct.
Where the music done? Yeah, where the music, where the work?
Yeah, that is frustrate, you know?
Frustrate, man.
Because, I mean, you need a movement to really, if it's a Trinidad hip-hop, it can't just be Matix and Mike Wise.
No, I would say, shout out to Sully too. Artist called Sully. He's doing some dope shit too. You know what I mean?
You know bad too? Kaz.
Yeah,
Kaz,
Kaz.
Fuego, eh?
Kaz. Yeah.
Kaz, nice.
Look, go on YouTube that. K-A-Z, Fuego on the
Yeah,
grind. You can
Kaz
watch my
nice,
interview with
though.
Kaz too. Right?
Yeah, yeah. England or something.
England, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just be struggling because, as I say, so the grind, every week I looking for new music. Oh God, the Trinidad full up.
Right.
The alternative sort of vibes. When I say alternative, like an Afro beat, different kind of stuff, men like Kutin. I was the first man to play Kutin music on radio, dog, 5 years ago.
Right.
And watch every big artist now. Respect our man as Kutin on the team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, son. And I just be struggling to find local hip hop, dog. Struggling.
Yeah, I know.
Struggling. And I just send thing. Once it's good, I will play it, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then, there's our next thing I see a comment about in terms of artists and the laziness too now.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
can't take that. Man, just get vexed with me. Big up Benjai, my brother. All the time. You understand? Big up my brother Benjai, boy. You know, I can't stress how much I rate Benjai Matix. And I question that the dog question on me.
Yeah.
You know, but again, I can't help but say what's on my mind. I just want to see
No, but it's tough for men who come out of a different generation where the workload was not the way it is now.
It was a different time,
And what we have to do. We have to, dog, it's about content. I just say what Nyla doing. Like, a lot of people mightn't have the time and the brain capacity to do. I always be like, oh God.
Yeah, very draining.
Very draining because you had to make the music now and then you had to make the content.
It had days I will sit down and I would be like, hey boy, I ain't posting 2 days, boy. Now I have to find something creative to. I can't just post now and then. I can't just post now and then. Now you have to find a loop. I posted a picture yesterday. I can't post a picture today. I have to post a video today.
That is that's taxing and that is cause anxiety.
I think that's something we as elders to Chromatics, I think we could enter that world and teach the youths that.
Well,
social media marketing. I think that's the most important thing today.
Yeah, well, I feel the youth had to teach me that.
I wouldn't even say that.
No?
Because I think that artists like us, we come from a generation where we learn social media because we was there.
Correct.
And we know the ground. So I think that we just bring two of them together and we just create original types of content and whatever. Now, with our youth stand now to work social media, but simple things like this Chromatics, to me, you can't be an artist and you're taking low quality pictures. I was making a simple example.
True.
You know?
True.
To me, you can't bust like that. You know? But I mean, some artists bust by just overnight.
But like creativity.
But yeah, so I try to give artists advice based on like how your YouTube page should look, how your Instagram should look. You know? Even your background, like look how long we take to set up this podcast. So like things like that now, framing, you know, like I think that will be a
well, quality that goes back to quality conversation.
A dope course now, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and you had an eye for it, and you know, if you want your thing to be of quality,
right.
yes, the content within it will sell itself, but once it's accompanied with the quality presentation,
presentation.
Then
it's a winning yourself.
It's a winning formula. How to present your brand, how to present yourself. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. I mean, hey, Rude Boy.
Pick up Rude Boy again,
it had one goal in the fridge.
Rude Boy stout, boy.
It had one goal in the fridge.
Yeah. So, your radio station, all them kind of vibes bad, bro. You know, tell me more about that. You know, tell me that type of vibe there.
Well, for those who don't know, our radio.fm, ours, right? And the mandate is we play no less than 75% TNT music. Reality is we play like 100% TNT music.
True,
but I leave that mandate there for DJs to free up themselves. If they want to play for a thing, cool. But you know, this is we are about majority, right? Is what we are about. And it all came out of when I started back the grind. For those who don't know, the grind actually started in 2008.
Well, I know going to tell you, bro, you've been around with that little brand.
And it started as an all hip-hop show where I would play, the first hour would be local hip-hop and R&B, second hour new tunes, third hour classics. You know what I mean? And then so shout out to X99, TTT, whatever, approached me. And when I tell you earlier about companies, it's not companies.
Chromatics saying things and I just remember in like, wait boy, this man do real thing. Just here, this man was working 99.1 Just here,
And I'll give you all the story of how coming out of that spawned our radio. Right?
Like really.
So, as I say, so they called me back, a certain individual called me back at the time. You know, they don't
call you back where? To the station?
To the station.
When you left?
Well, I left, as I say, I started in 2008, and then when Carnival, and then I stopped about 2 years later, then Carnival Rap Up dropped, and it was hot, and they like, Mate, come back and do a show. Started to do the show, and then my career was kind of getting any way of doing the show, and I handed it over to my brother Tim Starr from Spot Rushers. You know what I mean? Who was already kind of in the media space as well. You know what I mean? But anyway, and then so years later now, they come back and they approach me, and I was like, it can't be just hip hop alone, because yes, people know me as a hip hop artist, but Dan, I just be everywhere. I just be in the reggae dance. I just be in his ass for a long time. Not so much anymore, right? You know what I mean? I just be in rock shows. Wherever live music played, I dig. You know what I mean? So the show had to kind of represent more of that, and of course the Trinidad movement. I was seeing what was going on now, and the ground swell, and then so much good reggae, Dan. Dan, you know, bad fucking Queen on me, guys. and she don't get no love. And I just be I could rinse a whole album of tunes from she.
I interview Queen Amiga real bad right now.
Queenie!
You do one already?
Not on my show, but on the station,
I
yes.
wanna do Queen
and
Amiga.
of course, she blessed us up at the 1 year anniversary as well. Because she know we good like that for a long time. You know what I mean? It's just so much music that happening. It's like, when I bring back this show, it had to encompass more than just hip hop. You know what I mean? And represent strictly Trinidad and Tobago music. And dog, things start to go mad. And then, of course, we're talking about the visual too. Have my cameraman filming the interviews, we streaming live, etc., etc. And I'm going to put things out there, right? When I went back on the station, they had no live stream, no audio live stream. I had to press and get tech man and did it. How are you telling me that we're not streaming live nowhere? Or filming the interviews. Boy video went viral. It's over 200,000 views. You understand? Kutain, Nyla. When I interview Nyla and I pull out her guitar for she and say, hey, play that live on air. You know what I mean? Doing things different and having the visual aspect of it. And then boom, now COVID come. Right? I have a child on the way. And they tell me, Chromatics, well, we want to move your show from 6 to 9 to 9 to 12. And COVID, I have a picnic on the way. I ain't trying to be out in my house them hours though. And I find it was disrespectful because I bring in big sponsors. I bring in money to the station. And whole mantra at the time was what? Live for local. It's the only local show on your platform within your whole thing. I was like, nah, I good. I'm out. Yeah, and through the COVID, I started playing with the idea of doing. Then I started to investigate, do real research. The station was running for 6 months in the cloud, just doing my research, whatever, and I started it, and I called certain people that I know on the same wavelength, and that's basically how it started. And we started the grind from in here, right in this band room where we're sitting down right now. This is where the station started, and of course we've expanded now, and just representing that because, and that's why I give my DJs leeway. You see all them other stations down when I say I've had the experience inside there where music directors and program directors come in and tell you, nah boy, you can't play that. But the DJ is supposed to be the ear to the ground.
True.
Right? So for instance, TTNL, shout out TTNL, that's a show on a Thursday on our radio.fm. Swiss T, the DJ, and shout out Ivan and Keeks, Navy and Keeks. Them just play music. I never hear. And I just be like, Dan, who is that thing? Send me that thing so I can play it on my show. You know what I mean? Because they might have connections and relationships or hear a song, and the DJs have to be the tastemakers now.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And allow them to be their individual selves. So even Swiss T, when he came on the station and he realized, boy, it's all local, we can play. Boy, I ain't know, you know. When he started even hearing music that he playing, it's like, damn.
The type of music.
I just dare anybody, and anybody who watching this here now, I dare you to go and listen to our radio.fm, that's the website, right? For 15 minutes and tell me it'll blow your mind.
Only good music.
Tell me it'll blow your mind, and you will ask yourself, anybody who listens, all of that from here? Where's this?
Nah,
You know what I mean?
No lie. Yes, a man does play that at Kimmy too. I said Kimmy.
What? What? I think Kimmy is one of the most talented artists out of Trinidad and Tobago.
Big up Kimmy, boy.
And here's the funny thing, right? So me and Teja are good too, right? All you need is one.
True.
One that will take him over the edge, right?
True.
And I remember, I would tell you, you know why I want to big up anything down? You see Slaughter?
Oh, God. I glad you bring up Chromatics. Big up Slaughter all the bumbuckler time. Slaughter is the first man in this industry, Chromatics, to ever see me and say, KG, come. No, pause. But nobody, all them big boys who all over the place doing the thing, nobody never see me and say, I like you. Let me help you out. Slaughter grabbed me and so take me all over Trinidad, show me the life.
You see the conversation, one of the conversations you had that went viral, why soca artists do, you see them pull up with bag artists or bring artists with them. That is the first man. Slaughter. It had 2018, I had 2 tunes, we were on the same rhythm. Boy rhythm, I think he was there, he was filming shit.
I shot the video,
Right. And Slaughter just hear me perform. At them time now, I jump into the soca thing-ish, the season. Now, what I would consider is like a dancehall, soca mix-up kind of rapso vibes, right? And my wife told me, she said, Dan, that song real good, you know.
Yeah.
Let me touch road. And we went I realized that I had to bring it back down to zero because I'm entering into this new space where I can't say, well, I is Matix, I is this thing, you know what I mean?
Flat ground.
Touch road.
Yeah.
So, boy, that night we hit 3 shows. Yeah. End up in, who birthday bash it was in Arima? Ringo Starr, big up Ringo, even there too. Right? And start to perform way. Slaughter just like, what is that? And run up on the stage and grab the mic, Matix. Anytime I think I rhyme with that, on the rhythm. And he's like, next thing I know, he said, Dan, I want on that rhythm. Next thing, second star, see clips of Slaughter in the studio recording a rhythm. What rhythm is that thing?
Second star, Teja.
Second star. I'll get into the Teja thing now, right? Boom now, the year after. Right, we had our next rhythm, ting. And Slaughter was just done. I know Teja from a long time, right? When I say, you seen this youth do anything coming up, growing, you know what I mean? And Slaughter just say, Dan, let me run road, Teja going down, so this thing, wherever, we have this young DJ moving with you, wherever. And we going down the road, and Teja, nobody really know him, you know what I mean? But we hitting road, and Slaughter, there's an actual video when we in South, in Palmis, and all are we on the stage, dog, and just mashing up and things. And as I say, like to see, and I've seen Teja gradually step in the right direction. Next step, a little bigger. Thing, mass come again, step bigger, then his DNA. And I tell him for like 2-3 years before, I said, Dan, all you need is one. You'll get the one, you know, it come in. And I say, I feel Kimmy in the same boat, like he's so talented, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Dan, and could run in any lane. When you go down in the Batman lane, we could chat with any of them too, but you see the singy.
Yeah, but I don't want him singing Batman thing.
See the singy?
I don't want him singing. I find Kimmy, remember you have a song, Do You Love Me For Me? Me for the money.
That and
with Pretty.
No, not just that, but Me For Me, that rhythm, Subway rhythm.
Menace on that rhythm.
Menace and Writer.
Oh,
I rinse that on the grind.
That hit.
Rinse that on the grind.
That hit. I was always asking why you never push that more now, you know, like shoot out
Me For Me?
Yeah. But
he
want to be a Trinidad artist, you know, like
he couldn't.
Young now,
he could chat too, he could chat bad lyrics too.
Different by better.
And I think first radio interview Kimmy when we was on 99, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I'd bring him back on the grind on our radio if I'm not sure when he had the EP, but yeah, man, it's so many artists done, and I just like you, giving people a platform and a voice. That is all I want to do, all I trying to do, Dan. The money go come. Right? Then Rude Boy?
Of course.
Z.
Rude Boy again.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so Matix, I mean, we're talking for nearly 2 hours on about, bro.
Correct is right.
So I don't know if there's anything you want to plug before we leave, you know?
Man,
anything you want to talk about before we leave?
Nah, not really. Just you know, the relaunch of our radio.fm. As I say, you have your platform here. I want to say something too. Hey,
yeah. We're going there. Don't study that and your phone running, don't stop me. There we go. Yeah, don't study that. You want to do the change battery? No, don't study that.
All right, Good. Now, I wanted to say something, right?
Yeah.
Lot of youths just get discouraged.
Yeah.
Lot of people ain't gonna know, KG, this is not your first incarnation of this show.
No. I can already say that.
People ain't gonna know that.
Yeah,
people feel you must be just start this so and bam, is success.
Nah, a lot of trial and error.
People ain't know that you had started.
Yeah.
And then you do a couple episodes, it didn't really catch the traction. People don't know that me and you had a conversation of doing it on our radio itself, but we didn't really get to it.
Right.
And now you're here.
Yeah, definitely.
And so keep pressing. I want to tell people our story. So people know it's not no fly-by-night thing with KG and always because he associated with these people or whatever. You gotta keep pressing, learn, refine, and come again. And you know, once you have the passion fit and you're doing it for the right reasons, you must get through.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing, bro. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know,
We ain't afraid work, and that's the thing, People say that the youths are them lazy. We ain't lazy. We want work.
Yeah, you want work.
Just give me work.
Yeah.
Whether it be in the music, whatever industry, we want work, and we want to earn on his bread. And certain people have talents in different lanes, and it's up to people to recognize those talents. Just as we're talking about our slaughter, and try to put them in the positions where they can be contributing towards we as a country.
Yeah,
you know what I
definitely.
mean?
So yeah, Matix, it was a wonderful conversation, bro. I'm sure about that. I know people going to enjoy this one for sure. Yeah, so I'm Chinese man battery still dead. Bumbo. Well, all right. Well, look into this camera here, I guess.
Yeah, so you can see all the rude boys.
Yeah. And I will just leave a little advice, for the young ones that enter in this industry.
Well, that's what I say. That last thing when I talk about it, I using that as an example, as advice to keep pressing and don't get discouraged. If you really feel the passion for something, keep pursuing it, but learn from your mistakes. Don't take no loss. Take a lesson. You know what I mean? And learn and come again, and we all try and lift up each other. We make a don't fumble the bag, dog.
Boy.
Get to the bag. You know what I mean? Don't fumble the bag at all. You think?
Yeah, my brother.
Hi, brother.
Yeah,
Blessings,
man.
and I appreciate it to be here. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Look out for new music from the dog. New ventures, because I know, bro, that it is going to continue growing.
Right. Check out my album, Hammer and Chisel.
Yeah.
Available at chromaticsmusic.com. And of course, the EP Kobo Sweat.
Boy.
Right? Kobo Sweat and Hammer and Chisel. So when I'm talking about hip hop too,
Yeah.
content, give it the work.
Yeah.
Right? You have a whole EP, you have a whole album, and look for the releases coming from it in over the next year. Because we have real content to drop.
Yeah,
You
that
see?
is it. Yeah,
Observe.
man. And that is it. Boom.